Michael Hollingsworth has done a really good journalistic job. We have a story posted up at Infowars.com. Hardin, Montana under siege is the headline. Now, what we know is this American police force is a foreign mercenary company. I've got local newscast with legislators at the state house saying, yeah, they won't say who they are, where the money came from. They've done weird court battles to overturn Montana law to get the $27 million facility. They announced they're going to bring in foreign troops to train there. I mean, we've got scores. I know it's more than 15 different newscasts we posted. CNN, Billings News, local news, saying everything that's basically in Michael Hollingsworth's article. I did read in the Billings Gazette and other newspapers in California, not just Montana, that this Billings Gazette writer has gone to for them all of a sudden. Lots of bizarre stuff going on there. You've got this weird foreigner who runs it all going around. They've got foreign commanders who are on the news, and they say it's all secret, we're not telling you. But then we have earlier news till the people said no from April, where they said it was going to be Guantanamo West. We have CNN and local news, but as soon as the public said, first they made the public pay for this with a bomb proposal. And then it sat there empty for the last year and a half. It's a giant facility. This American police force put their decals on SUVs saying they were the local Hardin police force. This is all confirmed. But Michael Hollingsworth has been interviewing the locals, talking to them. He knows who all of them are. We're going to be reporting with him in the next few days here on air. I will let you know that by Friday, at least, we're going to have reporters on the ground there. Imagine who may be there. I'm just going to leave that open for imagination. I'm sure I've already hinted enough. I'm going to be there tomorrow, folks. I always tell the enemy when I'm coming. So the point is that I like to give them a heads up going there to do this, because then they'll overreact and show who they really are, too. So the point is I want them to know I'm coming. Anyways, I'm not going to let people know exactly what, but tune in tomorrow. Let's go to Michael Hollingsworth. Michael, tell us briefly about yourself, and then in a snapshot what's really going on there.
Thank you very much, Alex. I wanted to open by saying it's both an honor and a privilege to be with you today.
Well, it's nice to talk to you.
I represent a patriotically based website called Freedom Video USA that represents a vast number of American patriots who are all military veterans, law enforcement veterans, concerned citizens, people that have not been blinded by the current presidential administration's smoke and mirrors. We are able to see right through it, and we absolutely have a 100% policy for dispelling all of the bovine fertilizer that's being spread from corner to corner in this country. I got some emails from some very good friends of mine who are just as dedicated to truth as I am, and said, hey, man, this is up in your neck of the woods. What's going on up there? And I looked into it, and I was like, APF? I'm like, what does that even mean? I said, police forces are hired by the local the local jurisdictions that they work for. There's no such thing as a national police force. But a little bit of background on me. I'm 8 years in service in 2 branches of the U.S. military. I've worked in the private sector a little bit, worked for a small-time government contractor, done a lot of civil service work. All of the men in my family are veterans, have been American patriots, and that's so we classify as our number one line of employment as American patriot, preserver of the representative republic in which we live.
Good. So you're up there, you live nearby, you went and checked it out. Give us your take on it.
Well, the bottom line started as I started off with an hour-and-a-half long conversation with a lady by the name of Becky Shea, who is a almost 20-year reporter with the Billings Gazette. And she was the one who broke the story initially. So I contacted her. She is now currently the public affairs liaison for American Police Force. And I spoke with her, had a very interesting conversation where it felt like she was trying to sell me something. And I said, well, how did this happen? How did you go from being the reporter that broke this story to being, the mouthpiece of the beast here kind of thing? I said, all of the people, all the things that I'm reading, all the feedback I'm getting from the people of Hardin say that they're not interested in having, hell, they weren't even notified. These people just came out of nowhere. And she says, well, I went from driving a 99 Dodge Intrepid with a broken tie rod and bad front brakes to a black Mercedes SUV with a fuel card that I don't have to pay for and a substantial increase in salary. So I said, so essentially you sold your soul. And that didn't go over real well.
Well, but, she's quoted in other newspapers making similar statements. It seems like she's so starstruck by the money, she's even wanting to talk to us. And then meanwhile, you've got guys with foreign accents going, we will tell you nothing. We are bringing in foreign forces. In these newscasts, It's like they're trying to freak everybody out. And it's just classic intelligence operation. They admit they're looking at it for the Guantanamo Bay. They have another former Supermax, and I need to print that off before we leave, because I saw it in the news and I haven't Googled it yet. But there's another Supermax in Montana. This isn't Supermax, where they, quote, have animal rights activists and U.S. terrorists. And I saw civil rights suits filed because they don't let them see their families even once a month for visitation. So clearly Montana's the place. Clearly this is being looked at as where they want to move these assets in. And then it's just red flags are shooting, and red flags are shooting up. Then they show up in black SUVs saying they're the Hardin police. Then they have the head of this Twin River Authority that's kind of taking over, that's leased it to them, saying, oh, yes, well, it is our wish list for them to be the police. I mean, am I entering the Twilight Zone?
No, sir, you're 100% correct. I spoke with Al Peterson, the executive director of Twin Rivers Authority, yesterday very briefly. I got him on the phone and I asked him to confirm or deny these rumors. And I said, this is a facility that was denied operational status because it was not built in specification to Montana code. In order to house prisoners legally in the state of Montana, you have to have X amount of square feet per prisoner in order for it to be considered humane incarceration. This facility did not meet those standards. My question to him was, how is it that the director of the city of Hardin could build such a facility with such a high price tag on it and not know from the blueprint stage that it wasn't going to be up to specs? So this is all really, you're saying red flags that started popping up to us going, okay, was this facility built specifically with the intention? Is this how far back this plan goes? Is that they already were building these facilities because they knew there was no way their state was ever going to allow to house them? So yesterday I spoke with the Governor Brian Schweitzer's office, who assures me that absolutely nothing or illegal or unconstitutional is being allowed to happen. I rebutted with, then why are these people showing up and committing the felony of impersonating a peace officer by having Hardin Police Department written on their vehicles? Well, sir, that's a private agency dealing with a private town, and that's not under the governor's authority, and it's really not something that we're at liberty to discuss, and we're not at liberty to discuss hypothetical situations. I says, sir, hypothetical situations, we have video of it. We have pictures. We have,
Well, that was the thing. The California paper said, the San Jose Mercury News said, Alex Jones says they've got police on the side of their cars. No, that's what the local news is saying.
It's fact. We've got pictures. We've got video. There's interviews with citizens of the city of Hardin that are looking at these vehicles going, who the heck are these people? We did not hire these people. We have no idea who they are.
Well, let me ask you this, since you live nearby, because I've been trying to study this in the last 2 days. Sure. Am I correct in saying that they had a bond issuance to build a prison to give people jobs? Then they did a bait and switch and said it's a FEMA camp and a international Merc training center.
Correct. The bond issue, that basically what happened, the bond issue has been in court tied up for several years now because they can't seem to get the paperwork straightened out for it. So they changed their business plan. And this is something that I approached Becky Shea with. And I says, exactly who are you planning on training and what are you planning on training them to do? And she says, well, that's really not something I'm at liberty to discuss, but it's going to be something to the nature of police / detention officer type training. And I says, ma'am, what's wrong with the Montana Law Enforcement Academy's Peace Officer Standards and Training, our state accredited academy? You can't function in the state of Montana. I don't know how it runs in other places, but in the state of Montana, you cannot be a sworn peace officer unless you have graduated the post academy. You have to take the Montana State approved post academy before you can serve.
And the counties and cities are chartered under the state. That's their only authorities to the legislature.
Correct. That is precisely correct. So basically, I says, I called the sheriff's office, and the gentleman that answered the phone was very abrupt with me and said that I'm not going to speak to you. If you want to know anything, call the city of Hardin. So I called the city of Hardin. They played the, Jimmy go tell Bobby, go tell Mary game with me and pushed me off to 30 different people. And anytime that happens, that's basically, in the 7 tenets of special operations, you have one of them called UW, or unconventional warfare. And essentially what happens with unconventional warfare is the disinformation campaign, the psychological operations, where you will go in and set, light the fuse, if you will, creating the need and getting people to see things from your perspective so that when you come in and offer your services that you had planned all along, that these people are going to, to a screaming, thunderous applause, they're going to welcome you. And that's essentially
so you set the groundwork of problem, reaction, solution.
Precisely. Now, the other thing that's very critical that everybody in the United States and the world needs to know is that Hardin, Montana was not the only city that they planned on doing this in, and that was something that came straight out of Miss Shea.
Oh, that's key.
I asked her, I said, now, so basically what you guys did is you targeted Hardin, Montana because you realized that its financial infrastructure was collapsing and the city was about to implode and they had no money and they've been taking handouts from the state for X number of years. And she goes, well, I don't know that targeted was a good word, but she says, I think it was more that we did a complex financial evaluations of all of the locations that we were planning to
And it's the poorest county. They're sold this jail will save you. Then they bait and switch it and turn it into a command center for American police force to spill out as society implodes. The mercs are here.
Precisely. Now, you'll notice very carefully, if you go to their website, you will see an emblazoned logo on their berets and the side of their vehicles that has a two-headed eagle. That is the Serbian royal family crest.